think, act, and prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
So what are some of the best commodities that you think that are going to be booming in the next 3 to 5 years? I know we've talked a little bit about uranium. I hear you talk about uranium a lot. I've been getting into uranium, and just I love the argument for it, and I also heard the bear market case for it as well. I mean, there's always risk in any investment. What are some of the commodities that you're looking at right now that you think are going to be in the future?
I think uranium is a good example. Despite the fact that uranium is unpopular, it provides 25% or 20%, pardon me, of the baseload power consumed in the United States, 15% of overall power consumed in the United States. And uranium at the spot price, $30, means that the price the industry receives for uranium is less than the cost to produce it. Either the price goes up or the lights go out. Those are the two choices. This is very, very simple arithmetic. Now, the thesis is much less attractive than it was 3 months ago because all the stocks have gone up. It's weird that, if we go to the store and buy tuna fish and the price of tuna fish goes up, we get angry with the store owner. But if the price of a stock goes up, we're elated by it. So the fact that the stocks have been up by 30 or 40% mean that they're 30 or 40% less attractive. I still believe that the uranium price goes higher, but I would like to see the stocks decline before I buy more. 3 or 4 months ago, too, when the oil price was at $40 a barrel, that was stupidly cheap. I mean, truly, spectacularly, stupidly cheap. It had to go up. It did go up, but I think it'll fluctuate. And I think anytime that you see the oil quote below $45 a barrel, you can buy the oil stocks with impunity if you have a 2 or 3 year horizon. I think the agricultural materials, by that I mean the components of fertilizer, particularly phosphate and potash, are cheap and will become more expensive. Probably the most undervalued commodity in the United States, not where you and I live in the state of Washington, but rather the country as a whole, is water. Water pricing and water markets are controlled by the government, which means that rather than have water flow naturally downhill to money, to markets, they flow uphill unnaturally to votes. But that'll sort itself out over time, too, to the benefit of some, unfortunately, to the misery of many. But the truth is there's a whole range of commodities. What's important for your listeners to understand is that it is the out of favor commodities that present the opportunity, not the in favor commodities. When commodities are highly priced and thus appear desirable, that high price encourages production, while at the same time it discourages consumption. It leads to conservation. By contrast, when commodities are underpriced, it encourages consumption because they're cheap and discourages consumption, which is to say that low prices are the cure for low prices in commodities, and high prices are the cure for high prices in commodities. Zinc, I think, is cheap. It's economically sensitive. So if we do go into a recession, people will look back at this interview and say Rick Rule was a moron. But that could happen. Zinc is cheap. Nickel is pretty cheap. Gold, priced in dollar terms, is cheap. It's important to know that.